Okay,
So-
hello everyone. Today we have a special guest, the leader of the Flat Earth movement, David Weiss. I think
Go ahead.
I think Dave is one of the best Flat Earth teachers, and I have been watching his videos for many years now. Dave is very passionate about Flat Earth. He woke up a lot of people, and now they're saying, "Thanks, brother. The globe is the most stupid thing if you think about it." Dave has a website and YouTube channels. Links are below in the description. Dave also created iPhone app, Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock. Is correct?
Yes.
Dave will tell us about Flat Earth and will answer subscribers' questions. Hello, Dave. I'm Olga. Nice to meet you.
Hi, Olga. Nice to be here. Thanks.
Please tell us about yourself. How did you realize that the Earth is not a spinning globe, and how your life has changed since then?
That's a great question. I was doing a podcast about many other deceptions in this world, and people started sending me flat Earth stuff. And I said, that's stupid. Flat Earth is dumb. Of course, the Earth is globe. We see boats go over the horizon. We see sunsets. We have seasons. We have, if the Earth was flat, everybody would see the sun at the same time. And all of these questions, all these things I had, which I thought were proof of the globe. Then when I was forced to take a look, you start looking at these things and you realize that they don't prove anything, that they actually prove the Earth is flat. Seasons prove the Earth is flat. Once you start looking at all of these things, then you start to see it's the people that think the Earth is a globe don't know anything about the globe. If you ask a globe believer how fast is the Earth spinning, they don't know that it's going 1,000 miles an hour. Okay. If you ask a globe believer how fast is the Earth orbiting the sun, they don't know that it's orbiting at 66,600 miles an hour. That's crazy. Okay. You ask them how fast it's chasing the sun because the sun is moving through space according to the heliocentric model. They don't know that it's about 500,000 miles per hour. So let's just put those speeds into perspective real quick. This is called the hypersonic sled track, and it goes by at Mach 8.6. Okay, and you can Google this, look it up on YouTube, hypersonic sled track, and the sound of it going by is shocking. Okay, but you have to believe that we're orbiting the sun 10 times faster than that, and we're chasing the sun 100 times faster than that. Okay. And when you go out into nature, this is what we see. This is evidence that the Earth is perfectly still. Get a dinner plate, fill it with water to the brim, and try to walk across the room or take a ride in a car or even on an airplane. There's no way that water is going to stay still. And we're going at all of these crazy speeds, going in all different directions. At unbelievable speeds. And, when we go out in nature and we look, that's what we see. So,
by the way, one subscriber, he said, when I was on a train, high-speed train, my cup of tea was completely level.
Yeah. So what that is, and people that I mostly hear, what about when I'm on an airplane? I could drink a cup of tea, I can take a walk and go to the bathroom. And I say, well, first, let's make the comparison, make the analogy a little better. Take off the outside of the plane because the globe doesn't have an outside to it. Okay. Double the speed of the plane just to make it go 1,000 miles an hour, which is just the spinning of the Earth. Have the plane nose down a mile every 2 minutes to follow the curve of the Earth, and then tell me how your cup of tea is doing. Okay. Right. Saying that, going in a linear path, all of the motions, the spinning, the orbiting, and the following of the sun are all curves. They're all curves. Have that plate of water in your car going 100 miles an hour, 500 miles an hour, it doesn't matter. As soon as that car starts to take a turn, that water is going to slosh right off the plate.
Yeah, these are crazy speeds.
They're unimaginable, and that's why
Yeah.
people just their brains aren't taught to think that way. They're just short circuits. They're like, oh well, some scientist, a guy in a bow tie, figured it out for me, so I don't have to think.
Yeah.
And that's the trick. They've told us things as fact when in fact it's not fact. They say flat earthers are science deniers. We are
Yeah.
not science deniers. Science is meant to be questioned, and if science is real, you should be able to answer the questions. But all of the stuff about the heliocentric model are nonsense.
Yeah. And people asking, is there any solid scientific proof that the Earth is flat? When I try to tell people about flat Earth, they usually say, didn't you go to school? Read the physics textbooks for sixth grade.
Yeah. So yes, there is. So if we lived on a ball, there is measurable curvature. If we lived on a ball, the horizon is a physical place. It's where when something goes beyond the horizon, it's physically blocked. It goes behind the horizon, it's physically blocked, right? On a flat earth, the horizon is optical, okay? So on a ball, they tell us our earth is 24,901 miles around at the equator. There is a curvature rate. And that rate, believe it or not, this is their numbers, not mine, is just at 3 miles, there's a 6-foot drop. So I'm 6 feet tall. If I'm standing at the edge of calm water, I should see a physical horizon at 3 miles. And anything beyond that should just drop off farther and farther and farther. Okay. So, but that's not what we see. We can see things much farther. Now, here's a picture. Oops, that's not what I wanted to show you. Hold on. Here's a picture that a flat earther, that a glober will say is, this is zoomed out. You can't even see this building until you zoom in on it. And when you zoom in, the bottom floors are missing. And they say, oh, that's because it's going over the curve. Well, there's a couple things going on here. There's a thing which I call the wave front edge. Now, a little tiny wave can't block a whole building unless that little tiny wave is much closer to you. Like my finger can't block from my chin to my nose, right? Because it's not big enough. But if my finger was closer to you, it can block the whole bottom. So here's the thing. Look at these balconies. They're all the same height, but you can see they're getting compressed. This is an optical effect of the atmosphere. And as you get lower, they're getting squeezed together. There's like 3 balconies right here. You can't even see them. And they're all getting compressed. You have a little tiny waves in the foreground, and they're blocking them. So that's interesting. That shows you that what we're seeing is an optical effect. So the what am I looking for? Let's see what this one is. Yeah. So so when you're looking out, the horizon should be dropping. Okay. The farther out you see, the more of a drop there is.
Yeah.
All right. And the problem is we can see things that are way, way too far. So let's take a look at some boats going over the horizon. Right. So here is a boat that's what we're zoomed in on it. And as we zoom out, now you can see that there's water beyond that boat. But as we zoom out, it kind of looks like it's on the horizon. And its size just gets too small and you can't see it. You think it's going over the horizon because that's what you were told as a child. Okay. We actually see things that disappear from the bottom up. But when we zoom in on them, we can see them again. So let's just watch. These kayakers are just going to disappear. That land in the distance is going to disappear. Now, it's not going over the horizon because I'm able to zoom in on it again. If it was over a physical horizon, there's no way to see it. Like a pregnant woman with a big belly, if she puts her finger on top of her belly and then moves it over the horizon below her navel, she's no longer going to be able to see your hand. And no matter what power zoom binoculars, it's blocked by a physical horizon. But the horizon on a flat earth is optical horizon. Here's one. You don't see a boat out here, but as I zoom in, I'm increasing the angular size. So as I zoom in, I'm increasing the angular size, and all of a sudden we can see a boat, right? Because I'm just making that angular size big. Our eye has limits. So now watch, When I zoom out, the boat's going to disappear from the bottom up. Look, the bottom of the boat's missing. It's going up over the window. It's still there, but our eyes can't see it. And we're told that it's over horizon. The fact that I can zoom in and increase its angular size, that proves there is no curvature.
Yeah, I have the same question, but you already answered with the. And another subscriber says, question from John McLean. It's not really a question, but a statement. When I was flying on the airplane, I saw myself that the higher the plane went, the more rounded Earth appeared. So the Earth is spherical.
So yes. So that's how let's talk about how we see. So I'm looking for, oh yeah, here we go. So this. So the way we see as things go into the distance, the sky meets with the ground, and that's our horizon. Okay, you look at the clouds over your head, but the clouds far away look like they're touching the water. That's where your optical horizon comes in. So if I'm standing here, that I see the same distance in all directions. So let me flip that over. So person standing here, this is the limit of his vision right here, this distance. Well, the same distance here, and so we see this curve, right? But that's just the limit of our vision, right? And if I drew a straight line across that, right, it looks like it's dropping off. It looks like your programming tells you this is a sphere, but it's just the limit of our vision. You can see the same distance in all directions, and this is a line through the sky. So your programming tells you this is the ball, but you're just looking across. Like if you have a round table and your eyes are at the center of the table, you're just seeing the edge of the table. It's flat, but your programming says, oh no, this is the edge of a sphere, but that's not the case at all.
Yeah, and the radius couldn't be that small if you think this is a sphere. Also,
right?
Yeah.
So
okay.
another proof would be if you look at sonar on a submarine sitting on the bottom of the ocean can send out a sonar wave, and anything it hits, it bounces back, and they could tell, oh look, there's another submarine there. Well, submarines. We've talked to many submarine, sonar operators, and they say that they can see another submarine 100 miles away. 100 miles away would mean that there would be a mountain of earth in between them over a mile high. So you have to believe that the submarine sitting here, the sonar would go over, hit the other submarine, and bounce back, come over, and go back. That's not how sonar works. It would hit the earth and it would come back. Right? And so the same thing on the surface of the water. They take a pencil-thin laser beam, and they could light up another ship over 100 miles away. There would be a mountain of water 6,600 feet high. That's over a mile. But we can see that we can do that. They can light up with lasers. Lasers don't bend, right? Microwave towers that says, if you look up about microwave towers, they're line of sight. They can't be behind anything. And microwave towers go hundreds of miles. And the curvature rate is absolutely ridiculous. So the question is, like, people say, well, why can't I see Mount Everest? Why can't I see from New York? Why can't I see Europe? And it has to do with angular sizes of things get too small. The atmosphere gets too thick, and you can't see through them. Like if you're looking through a pane of glass, it's clear. But put 100 panes of glass together, you can't see through it. It becomes thick. So here's a famous viewing spot in Luge, France, looking out at Mount Canigou. Mount Canigou is 175 miles away. And according to Globe Math, the top of Mount Canigou should be over a mile below the curve. And you can't see it. Well, a Glober would say, yeah, you can't see it. However, the sun migrates in between the tropics. And twice a year, it lines up with the viewer and Mount Canigou, right? And so the light that's normally bouncing off of Mount Canigou isn't bright enough to push through the atmosphere and make it back to your eyes. However, the sun's light is much brighter. And as the sun moves beyond Mount Canigou, it's just moving away, all of a sudden, you can see Mount Canigou. Now, this is the highest peak right here. and that should be a mile below the curvature, but we can see it. It's right here, right? The globe explanation is, oh, the sun has already set. It's already below the curve. The mountain's already below the curve, but somehow it's refracting up and stopping right at eye level. Okay. And when I say to that is, cool story, bro. It's a ridiculous explanation. This is not a mirage. It's blocking the sun. We're seeing it backlit by the brightest thing in the sky, which is the sun. And that's it. This is impossible on a ball. So if someone says, what's any proof of flat Earth? There you go. This is proof of a flat Earth or a globe that's 1,000 times bigger than they're telling us. Either way, we've got a big lie on our hands.
I like Michigan Lake. You remember? They say, you can see the skylight through Michigan land, and they say, this is mirage.
Yeah.
On the news.
This one, we have the camera 1 foot off the ground. 1 foot off the ground requires a horizon to be 1.6 miles away, less than 2 miles away. This thing at 9.4 miles away should be 59 feet of curvature from that height. There should be 59 feet of curvature. But not only can we see the bottom, if you look carefully, we can see the water surface far beyond it for dozens of miles. This is the globe killer, okay? There is no curvature. If we live on a globe, there has to be curvature.
Yeah.
Large bodies of water at rest lay flat, okay? If you had a bathtub and you got rid of the bathtub, all the water's gone. If you had a pond or a lake, the container of that lake is the land that surrounds the lake. It's where the land is higher. And if you don't believe me, dig out some of the land so it's lower than the surface of the water. And what happens? The water just goes away. The water will seek its base level. So the way our world works is our world is like a pond, a giant pond, and it's surrounded by Antarctica. Antarctica is very likely bigger than all of the world, all of the oceans, all of the continents combined, right? This is looking straight down. This is one illustration of how the Earth might look, right? Show you another one. Hold on. Where's my? So this is a depiction of our world. This pink line is 60 degrees south. Nobody is allowed to independently explore beyond that. It's off limits. And all the countries in the world, Russia, the United States, we all agree nobody can go there since 1959. And you can't even question the treaty until the year 2041.
Yeah.
Do you know any other agreements that have lasted that long? Because I don't know of any. There are none, right? And they also tell us Antarctica is the highest land on Earth, right? That's the container for our world pond. We live in the Antarctic basin, right? Go ahead.
Yeah, and also a question from subscriber nickname Mangust from Czech Republic. He asked, where is the age of the flat Earth? Did anybody go there? And is it possible to get there?
Yeah. So again, nobody is allowed to go beyond this. You can pay thousands and thousands of dollars to go to Antarctica for a couple of days. They'll bring you to this little peninsula right here, which is bigger than many countries. And they'll show you some ice and some penguins. No independent exploration is allowed out here, right? And anybody that says they would explore it out there, when we look at the details, it's all lies, okay? Yes, there are some bases, people that are working right in this area, but this is 1,000 miles of ice right here. What's beyond here? We don't know. So when people say, has anyone seen the edge? Well, the edge of our known world is Antarctica. This is what's known as the ice wall, okay? Some science shows will try to tell you that this is just a giant iceberg. No, it's not. It's the shoreline of our world. It's the frozen shoreline that we call Antarctica, okay? And it's the container of our ponds. So here's the edge. What's out there? We don't know. So does it terminate? Is there a dome over us? I don't know. We can speculate all day long, but one thing we know for sure is it's not a continent at the bottom of a ball, right? It's not the continent. It's not just a continent at the bottom of the ball. If you go look at Google Earth pictures, if you look at Google Earth images of Antarctica, they're all cartoons. It's the only place in the world, other than the North Pole a little bit also, that they're cartoons. They won't show you what's there because they can't put it together, because it's a ring around us. It's not all underneath like they tell us, right? There's many ways to prove that we don't live on the globe, or that we do live on a globe, but they won't ever allow it to happen. Like just circumnavigate Antarctica with 2 airplanes at the same time following the coastline. They won't do it because it doesn't work. Okay.
Yeah, just wanted to ask you about this pictures of ice Antarctic wall. Are they real pictures? Somebody took it, or is it just imaginary?
No, those are real. Where is it? These are real images. These are real.
Oh, so
These are videos. There's plenty. If you just look up Antarctic ice wall, look it up. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of pictures. There's people. I had some friends that went to Antarctica. They're globe earthers, but they went there and they saw the ice wall. They saw, that, and it's not a wall like the Game of Thrones. It's the shoreline that surrounds our world. The sun never gets close enough to Antarctica to melt it. So it always stays frozen, at least for now.
Mm-hmm.
So these are real images, real videos, but there's no independent exploration of Antarctica.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so next question from Ridwan. He said, one video shows how rocket hit the dome after flying for about 100 kilometers, 62 miles.
Yeah.
Does this mean the dome is about this height? And also, I have a question, what material the dome made from? It's probably some solid material, because it must hold a lot of water above. Is there any water above the dome too? And also, I heard some interesting theory recently. The dome consists of 7 layers. What do you think about this?
That's very interesting. And the image they're talking of, the rocket they're talking about is called the Go Fast rocket. It's it went straight up at 72 miles, and then all of a sudden it hit something more viscous. It didn't hit something solid. It hit something like plasma, something not quite as thick as water. But we had a NASA whistleblower, and again, the guy was staying anonymous. He gave us a bunch of information, then he disappeared quickly. And it's just hearsay, but he says that at 72 miles it becomes plasma. And then as you go up higher, it becomes thicker and thicker until it becomes solid. Okay. Now, if you say, it has to be something really strong to hold up water, because we believe that what we call space is water. Think about a bubble on the bottom of a pot of water that you're boiling, right? Imagine you're standing inside that bubble. You're on the flat pot and you have a dome over you holding up all that water. Just the pressure is holding up the water without any physical structure. So flat earthers, we're trying to figure it out. I think there's a physical dome up there. Some people don't. Some people think there's an energetic dome. Some people think that it's ice. Some people think that it's glass. I don't know. But personally, I think that there is a physical dome up there that does somehow terminate beyond the mountain ranges of Antarctica. Now, what's beyond Antarctica? That's a great question. If you look at where is it? One possibility. This is one that I like. Is whoops, that's the wrong one. Get rid of that. Well, what if we lived here? Okay, this is a fairly accurate map of the world. This ring is Antarctica. Okay, maybe a couple thousand miles wide. And then out here, there's more land. Maybe there's another sun out here, right? This is extra territory, extra land territory. So if somebody lived out there and came to visit, they'd be an extraterrestrial from the outer space. extraterrestrial from outer space.
Mhm. Yeah, well, as I understand, there is a dome just above our lands, inside of Antarctic Circle.
Maybe.
But is there a dome above its extraterrestrial lands also? How it constructed?
Please ask the question again.
They're always showing dome above our land, inside the Antarctic Circle. But beyond Antarctic Circle, other lands, is there a dome for these lands also?
Again, we don't know because we're not allowed out there, but some people think that there's domes on top of domes on top of domes. So this is our realm here. Here's the next realm, which some people call the Mars and Venus realm. Mars is a sun and Venus is a moon. Venus has phases just like our moon, and they coincide with the phases of our moon. That's very interesting, right? We're told it's a planet. And then out here is the Saturn, Jupiter. Saturn is a sun and Jupiter is a moon, or maybe it's the other way around. And these are, possibilities. Again, we're trying to figure this thing out. But one thing that all flat earthers know for sure is that we don't live on a globe. There's no possible way. The globe is impossible.
Yeah. And you know what is interesting? There are old Russian fairy tales, and they always tell about journeys to the distant lands. They call them 3-9 kingdom, 3-10 state.
Yeah.
So I guess there may be at least 39, 40 other lands beyond Antarctic Circle, at least.
Right. There was this old map. Let me see if I can find it. There was a map that, here it is. This map was discovered, and it showed about 30 or 40 other continents outside beyond Antarctica. An old Japanese map. Yeah. So again, why, they're hiding more land. They're hiding that we live in this amazing creation. They want us to feel like we're insignificant on a speck of dust flying through nowhere. And so go ahead, you go.
Yeah, okay, just talk about our lands. So let me see. What is in really North Pole? Is it really snowing and very cold there, as we're told?
That's a great question. There are reports of explorers that a long time ago that went there and said it got warmer and warmer, and they found tropical things there. We don't know. We're not allowed to go there. Some people say there's a giant hole. Some people believe that our sun is projected from the center of our Earth. There's a lot of speculation there. But again, the North Pole, just like Antarctica, is off limits. Airplanes aren't even allowed to fly over it. They say if they do, they lose their controls, go haywire. That might be true. But they're hiding the true nature of our world. If we were allowed to independently explore Antarctica, we would know that we don't live on a globe, and everything falls apart from there. Why the lie? Why would all of the governments in the world lie? Well, one, all the governments, they're all in it together. The separation of Russia and the United States is fake, okay? It's all fake. It's all to control the people. And what they don't want is they don't want us getting to mass consciousness. They don't want there to be enough of us where our thoughts can overwhelm their wizardry, if you will. They don't want us to know that our thoughts create our reality. And they want to keep us living in fear. They want to hide the creator from us. They don't want us to know without a shadow of a doubt that there is a creator.
Yes. And interesting question also about the compass. Why the compass always point to the north? Is there any big magnet there? And how does the compass work on the flat earth?
Yeah, so this is how a compass works on the flat earth. The center is the North Pole. Every direction away from the center is south. All of these directions are south. Yeah. East and west are circles. If you had a compass, right, my finger's pointing to the north. If I wanted to go west, I have to keep going, but I have to keep turning. I have to turn, right? Because I need that needle to point towards the north. Get a compass, get a magnet, put it on a table, put the compass near the magnet so it points north, and try to push that compass west or east. You'll have to make a circle. East and west are circles. That does not prove the earth is flat because it's the same on a globe. Okay. But nobody has circumnavigated the earth south. No one has gone south and popped up on the other side of the earth. No one's gone from Santiago, right? Where's Santiago? No one's gone from Santiago and popped up over in Australia. No one's ever done it. If we lived on a globe, that should be easily done, but nobody has ever done it.
Yes.
Right? The sun goes around once every 24 hours. Wherever the sun is, it's noon. If I speed it up, it's noon wherever the sun is, and it takes its light with it. And now the shape of the light depends on how close it is to the dome. So right now, we're almost approaching the equator. But if I bring the sun into, let's say, June, this is the inner northern summer because the sun is closer to us. It's closer to you in Russia. It's closer to the United States. We're in the inner northern area. And then 6 months later, the sun will move out to the Tropic of Capricorn in December. That's when it's cold for us, but it's hot in Australia because the sun is directly over Australia. The outer lands have their summer. It has to do with how close the sun is to us and how far it is away from us. Did you know that during our northern winter, they tell us the sun is 3.5 million miles closer to us than it is during our summer?
Yeah.
Everything is reversed.
Yeah, it's really ridiculous.
Why I have this up? Did you know this is the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app? And if we hit the flag button, there is a playlist in different languages. So there's Russian videos on here for all of your listeners if you're looking for content.
I saw this,
Yeah. And then also, let's take a look. Let's see where you are. So on the app, we have the friend finder, and it shows you other people that have the app near you. So this is me. I'm in the New York area. Let's let it load. And all of these people, all of these dots are people that have the app, and the orange dots are people that are that have it within the last 60 days. So let it load. There's a lot of dots here. And I can contact them. I can send out group messages to everybody within that circle for meetups and stuff. But if I type in Russia, let's see how Russia's doing.
Oh, Russia is very few. I checked it.
Oh, you did. So
yeah. I bought you up also. Yeah, it's funny.
Here we go. Very few. Well, it's showing Central Russia here. If you hit this right here, this button right here, this will give you a faster loading map, and then you could zoom around and look. So Russia, where's Russia? Russia's over here. Very few people.
Only in Moscow area.
Yeah, we gotta work on that.
Yeah, we'll fix it.
Yeah, but like Europe, there's tons. Australia has tons. We even have a couple of flat earthers in Antarctica.
In Antarctica.
Yes, we have one guy at one of the stations there. If I zoom in, he's at the Casey station. Interesting, right?
Yeah. What is he doing there?
I don't know, and I that's a longer story, but we'll talk about that another time.
Yeah. Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, so can you explain like briefly how on the flat Earth season works and solar and lunar eclipses, time zones, how it fits in the flat Earth theory?
Yeah, so seasons. Let's see what I have. But while I have the app up right here. So this outer ring here, the yellow line is the Tropic of Capricorn, and the inner one is the Tropic of Cancer. And so the sun migrates 6 months out, 6 months in. So when it's closer, imagine you and I we're visiting each other, and it's freezing cold outside. There's snow on the ground, right? We're 20 feet apart, and somebody's holding a heat lamp directly over you, 10 feet in the air.
Yeah.
Okay. you're going to feel that heat on you. That's your summer sun. But I'm going to look at that heat lamp, and it's not over me. It's way down. It's far away. It's lower in the sky to me. But if they walked over to me, keeping it at the same height, it's going to get higher and higher and higher in the sky and closer. That's my summer sun. And you're going to watch it. It's going to go down, 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 getting farther away. And that's your winter sun. It's that simple. When you're standing under a street light, that's your summer sun. But the street light down the road is your winter sun. It's farther away. It's lower in the sky.
Mm-hmm.
That's how seasons work. It's very, very simple. Here is think about this. So this is 6 months later. You're over here. How come at nighttime I can look out and see the same stars 6 months later when I'm looking in the opposite direction? That makes no sense.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And I always was wondering, so crazy speeds were moving, and
right.
And the same stars and same moon and everything the same.
Here's a heat map of the Earth. Now, remember, the Earth is tilted. They always tell us the Earth is tilted. Well, if the sun rays are coming in, how come the heat is going like this? If you convert this to a flat Earth, it makes perfect sense.
Yes.
The sun is migrating in between the tropics, and those red area is that the sun never gets far away. When you're in between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn, the sun just goes back and forth. It goes over you twice. You and I we're on the inside of the Tropic of Cancer. So the sun comes towards us, doesn't quite get to us, then it goes away from us. So we have really cold winters. And people in the outer south, if they're outside of Capricorn, the sun will come towards them and then it turns away. But if you're in between the tropics, the sun goes back and forth over you. It crosses over you twice a year. And that's why it's always warm in the tropics, because the sun never is far away. Right now, we're having our coldest time of year, but the sun's already almost halfway back because it's coming towards us and the Earth is building its thermal energy up. It just has to do with how close we are to the sun.
Okay. And how the time zone works on the flat Earth?
How time zones work. So let's go back. We'll go back to the app real quick. So if I turn on the time zones, boom. So wherever the sun is, it's noon. So if I move the sun around, it's noon. And then it's just where your time zone is, how far away you are from the sun. If you're 180 degrees from the sun, it's midnight. It's midnight over here, right? It's noon here. The sun is rising in Australia, right? In Sydney, Australia, it's noon right now, okay? And then why it's 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock in Sydney, it's noon on Western Australia. And now the sun is approaching Johannesburg, South Africa. So the sun is rising. And now the reason you can't see the sun is because it's small, it's local, and it moves away and it sets due to perspective. So let's take a look at how that happens. So when something goes away, like these street lights, they get lower and lower and lower until you can't see them anymore. Well, here's the sun. It's just getting lower and lower and lower due to perspective, right? However, sometimes if you're in an elevated place where there's super clear, dry air, the sun doesn't set. It just goes away, right? If the earth was spinning, it should just go down, 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 but it doesn't. It just sits here and it goes farther and farther away until it just disappears. Okay? Again.
Yeah, but the same question Marina from United States asked. Sometimes we see like sun going away, but we can see half of the sun, quarter of the sun. It's like going beyond the horizon. But again, it shouldn't be on the flat Earth.
Well, again, so when you're looking into the distance, there could be mountains that are way high over your head, but they all compress into the horizon at eye level. Okay, so you know when you see cumulus clouds, they're all sitting on a flat deck. They're all at the same height. So you look up at the cumulus clouds over your head, they're high, they're 5, 10,000 feet in the air, but 20, 30 miles away over the water, those same clouds are touching the water and they're at your eye level. That's all due to perspective. Well, the sun is above that. And as it moves beyond that, the sun just moves away and it looks like it sets because it's going beyond that. So let's take a look at this. Here's the sunset. It looks like it's setting, but watch what happens when I zoom back in. If I zoom in on this, you'll see that the sun isn't setting. It's all optics. It's how your eye sees. Look, I'm zooming in, and look, the sun is not touching the water. And after a certain amount of distance, the atmosphere becomes opaque and the sun will just get blocked again. It'll get blocked and just go behind that blockage, which looks like it's at eye level, but it's not, right?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. So here's the sun just clearly coming towards you, but back in the distance here, this horizon is above your eye level and it's hiding the sun. So let me show you, let me give you a perspective. So this is just showing the perspective on how the street lights aren't really going down. As I zoom in, they come back. So here's what I was talking about. When I look up at the cloud, if I drew a line from the cloud to my eyes, it's pretty much straight up in the sky. Okay. Then you have all the clouds which are sitting on a deck, and as they go into the distance, they appear to get lower and lower. Okay. So follow me on this. So if I look at this distant cloud over here, and I drew a line from my eyes to that cloud, I would see that line going parallel with the water. Would you agree? Right? I'm seeing that line at eye level all the way across. But imagine if you were standing underneath that cloud 30 miles away, and you could see the line that goes from my eyes to that cloud. Would you see the line going parallel with the water, or would you see something completely different? What you would see is a line going from 5 or 10,000 feet sloping down to my eyes. But I see this line as a level line across the water. You're underneath that cloud, which is still at 5 or 10,000 feet in the air. But I see that cloud sitting on the horizon. Okay. So here's what happens when the sun is moving across the sky. It's moving. Now this becomes my horizon. This is at eye level. It's opaque. And as the sun moves, this is what's really happening from a side point of view. As it goes beyond this line, it's setting. But remember, I'm standing here, and that line to me is level across the water. Okay? So what I see is this. Here it comes. What I see is the sun moving farther away, and it starts to go down, down. And then when it passes those clouds, it gets eclipsed from the bottom up, which looks to me to be a horizon, but it's an optical horizon. And that's what I see. It's that simple.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Here's the sunset. I'm just moving this line. This line is level. And here's the sun going behind this optical atmospheric deck of opacity. And in reality, this is just the sun moving across, which I'm showing over here. But this is the real sunset. It looks exactly the same.
Yeah, it's like optical illusion.
Yep.
Yeah. How solar and lunar eclipses occur on the flat Earth?
Yeah, well, first you have to believe that a solar eclipse is the sun is 400 times bigger than the moon, but it happens to be 400 times farther away. And somehow we're sitting on a Earth and they perfectly line up like two perfect circles. Okay. The chances of that happening are a trillion times a trillion times a trillion to one, right? The problem is it happens every year again and again and again. Okay. And that's impossible. And after 18 years, the entire thing repeats itself, right? The entire thing repeats itself. That is not a random heliocentric beehive. What it is a perfectly designed clock, right? So here's one. This is not to scale and not the speeds. The sun, right? We have our Tropic of Cancer, Tropic of Capricorn, and the sun and the moon migrate in between them. The sun migrates every 6 months in, 6 months out. The moon migrates 2 weeks in, 2 weeks out. Okay. And only when they hit a nodal point where they pass at the same time will there be a solar eclipse. And that's when an eclipse happens.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Now, in the app, if you hit the What About Eclipses button, there's a whole bunch of videos down there that'll explain the impossibility of an eclipse on a spinning ball and how it very possibly works on a flat Earth. There are things that we don't know about what's up there. There may be other dark bodies. We're unsure, but one thing we can prove for sure that it's not what they're telling us, right? Here's a little demonstration of a solar eclipse. So we got a penny, and we have this light, and the penny is much smaller than the light, right? And we're just gonna kind of bring it in front of it, and kind of doesn't really look like an eclipse. But if we change it to a light that is closer, let me jump forward. So here's a smaller light on the side there, about the same size of a penny. And when we run it in front of that light and compare that to a solar eclipse, it kind of looks a lot more like a real eclipse, right? That's kind of what we see, right? Now, I'm not saying that the moon in front of the sun is causing eclipse. I actually think it's the reverse. I think it's the moon behind the sun that we see that's blocking its projection. But that's I like that video because it kind of shows you how it could work. The other thing is, on a lunar eclipse, they tell us that the Earth is casting a shadow on the moon. Doesn't work that way. You can't cast a ball, can't cast a shadow on another ball and maintain the curve. We're told that that only a sphere can cast the same curve all the time. Any other shape would come out differently. But when you actually look at these eclipses, they make no sense. If you take a sphere and cast a shadow on another sphere, it actually comes out straight. It's not curved. If you use a straight edge, it comes out curved on another sphere. Okay. And also, if you try to take a single source light and a ball and cast a shadow on something and then move that thing away 238,000 miles, the whole shadow just fuzzes out. It doesn't create a sharp shadow like we see. So there's something else that is eclipsing the moon, and it's not the Earth. The other thing is, we have what's called the Seleninian eclipse, where the sun and the moon are both above the horizon, and the shadow comes in from the top. Well, if the Earth is causing a shadow, it would come in from the bottom. There's no way the eclipse could start when you could see the sun and the moon both above, because supposedly the Earth has to be in line.
Yeah.
Makes no sense.
Yeah. So this question: does outer space really exist? And is there a vacuum? How we're told?
Yeah. Well, think about a vacuum of space. It's scientifically impossible. You can't have high pressure next to low pressure without a barrier. That's impossible. Now, a lot of flat earthers think there's a dome because it's protecting us from outer space. I don't believe in outer space. I don't believe you can have a vacuum next to a high pressure system like the Earth. And the Globers will say, well, what about gravity? Gravity's holding the air down. Well, how come I can take a straw and suck water and air up and away from gravity right here at ground level where it's the strongest? I can, with the weak vacuum of my lungs, just a little bit of low pressure, whoop, water and air goes away. And but the Tor 10 vacuum of space can't do that. I mean, they once there's one video of NASA putting an astronaut into a vacuum chamber in a spacesuit, and before they even got it, nearly to a vacuum, he passed out. His tongue started boiling. He almost died. Right. But if you think about it, if you're in a spacesuit, which I call a snowboarding suit, these guys, they would explode. They would explode instantly. You've seen what happens. Just take a water bottle on an airplane. When you go up to altitude, the slight difference in pressure, the bottle expands or compresses if you're landing. That's just the slightest difference in pressure, right?
Mm. Yes. So what about this? All NASA, Roscosmos, and other space agencies? What all they're lying about this? How come? And International Space Station doesn't exist also, and Hubble telescope not real. How it can be possible?
Yeah. Well, if you look at the NASA was founded by by occultists, by Disney, Walt Disney, who's a cartoon animator. You got Werner von Braun, who's a rocket science, who's a Nazi, ex-Nazi. You got Jack Parsons, who's all of these occultists together. They created NASA, supposedly. NASA, we were discovering Antarctica. Admiral Byrd, made his famous speech saying, there's more resources, there's more land. All of a sudden, oh no, we're going to the moon. Everyone, don't look at Antarctica. Look up there, someplace that you can't go. So the whole purpose of NASA and all of the other space agencies, which all have the same logo, they all have the vector symbol in their logo, which is an occult symbol. It's all to distract people and make you think you live on a ball. And now the lie is so big, it's really hard to wrap your mind around it. Like people say, well, why didn't Russia, why don't they, if we're lying, why don't they tell on us? And why don't we tell on them? And why doesn't JAXA and, all of these other space agencies, if you watch their footage, it's unbelievable. Okay. It's ridiculous. And think about this. Werner von Braun, right? He's your rocket scientist, came over to run NASA. Okay. He wrote a book in the 1950s about Project Mars, about going to Mars, led by a guy named Elon. Led by a guy named Elon. That's called predictive programming, right?
Yes, I know.
So let's look at a couple of a couple things.
So Elon Musk also a hoax.
Yeah, Elon Musk is absolutely 100% a fraud. Nothing he has done that he is reported to do is real. He's just a puppet who does what he's told to say. He doesn't run a car company. He doesn't run a solar company. He doesn't run NASA. He doesn't run SpaceX. And it's all fake. It's all to control the masses. Everything that he's told you is absolutely ridiculous. People say, well, I've seen the ISS transit the moon or transit the sun. Well, the ISS is about the same size as a 747. Well, here's a 747 crossing the sun, and here's the ISS cross. Oh, is that the moon? They're about the same size, which means they're about the same height. Well, the ISS is supposedly 50 times higher, 50 times farther. Do you think you could see a 747 50 times its cruising altitude when you could barely see it at cruising altitude? Impossible. These are all parlor tricks.
But some people, they say they can see ISS.
You can see a light go by, but think about it. When you look up and see a 747 at cruising altitude, it's a tiny little dot. If you doubled the height it's too small to see. Its angular size is too small to see. You with me?
Mhm.
The ISS is 50 times higher. You could not see it. And it's reflecting light brighter than any star in the sky. I've seen what they say the ISS go by as. It's reflecting light. Although whenever we see an outside shot of the ISS when they're doing spacewalks, it's not that bright. How is it? How are we seeing it that bright? If you understand, light over distance gets dimmer and dimmer. It doesn't get brighter and brighter. Okay.
Yeah, but I have a question, not for recording, maybe. You know, about 2 years ago, I can see on the sky some structure, very, very bright, brighter than the stars. 1, 2 places, and it's moving. I didn't see it recently, maybe once, but months ago, I clearly saw it's like, looks like angel, you know, for me, it's the same shape. I'm still wondering what it could be. How do you think?
I don't know. Again, that's definitely an unidentified flying object. But the way they trick us with the space station, again, our whistleblower told us they took a B-2 bomber and they re-engineered it, where they took parts of the wing and they built it out of transparent material, so it's see-through. And then they took big arrays of LED lights at the right brightness, the temperature, to look like a star, and they light up the bottom of the plane. They have 5 of these. 2 or 3 of them are based out of Alaska. And I think one is in Russia, and I'm not sure where the other one is. And they take turns flying around so people can see. They can do these lunar transits, and you know, when we see it go from horizon to horizon, I could watch it come by, and it takes 8 minutes to cross the sky. Okay, well, 17,000 miles an hour. I live on the East Coast in America. It should be past California. Okay, but I can still see it, and people in California cannot see it. Okay, none of it makes any sense. The sizes, people aren't taught to think about sizes. If I held a penny 10 feet from you, could you see it?
No.
Yeah, if I held a penny, a coin, could you see it 10 feet? Absolutely. If I held it 5 miles away from you, could you see it? No, you can't see it. And the same thing with these things that we're seeing in the sky, including stars. Think about this. Our sun is a giant ball this big, and the Earth is a tiny little BB next to it, tiny little pebble, okay? And if the sun was just a mile above your head, it would fill the entire sky, right? In the heliocentric model. Then we move it 93 million miles away where they tell us it is, and it goes from covering the entire sky, right? Right? It goes from, so if it was just a mile in the sky, oops, wrong thing, hold on. If it was a mile in the sky, it would fill the entire sky, right? But we move it 93 million miles away, and due to perspective, it becomes the size of a coin held at arm's length. If I doubled the distance, how much smaller would it get? If I 10 times the distance, if I 20 times the distance, it is too small to see. Scientifically, provably, too small to see, right? If I made it 24 times farther, that is 3 light hours away. 3 light hours. Is that right? 3 light hours? Yeah, I think it's just 3 light hours, whatever. 24 times as far. You cannot see it. It's too small. It's 3 light hours away. But they tell us Polaris, that we can all see with our naked eye, is 433 light years away. I think that's the number. Light years away. We couldn't see it at a light week away. A week away, because it's supposedly bigger than the sun, right? It's scientifically provable for anybody that does the math, does the science, actually thinks about it, that if Polaris was a light week, the distance light travels in a week, theoretically, you could not see it, but it's 433 light years away, but we can see it with our naked eye. That there alone proves that everything they're telling us about what's in the sky is a lie. Everything.
Yeah. Yeah, so question from John McLean. He asks, do you think Americans really went to the moon? And what do you think about the first Russian cosmonaut, Yuri Gagarin? Did he really go to the space the first time? And what about other cosmonauts and astronauts?
Yeah, so the question is, there's a lot of people that say Yuri is the same actor that played Neil Armstrong. Have you heard that?
Yuri Gagarin?
Yes.
No, never heard of that.
Played by the same. You look at pictures of them, they look like the same person. Okay.
Oh, really?
I don't know. I hate playing the this person's that person game. But, you know, this is what they went to the moon in, supposedly, right? This thing's made out of tinfoil, papier mache, curtain rods. It's absolutely nonsense, right? Right. And then this is actual NASA footage. Okay. Ready? This thing. This looks like a homeless tweaker shelter, right? This is the orbiter. Excuse me. There's people on here, supposedly. Okay.
Who is filming them?
Well, no, this is the lander is coming to connect with them. So the lander took off the moon and is coming to meet up with them. Right? Absolute nonsense. And then here's a guy on the moon. He's hammering in a spike and he drops the hammer. Okay. Meanwhile, look at this horizon. What is that? 50 feet beyond him? This is ridiculous. Okay. And he can't pick up the hammer because he's hanging from wires. He's trying to pick up the hammer and he can't. He keeps trying and he can't get down. You're laughing because it is hysterical. Okay. He can't pick it up.
Like fun fantasy movie.
It's absolutely, it doesn't hold up with time. If you actually look at it, it's you know, this is what they're showing us. These are little models and stuff filmed in a closet. This is just a model, right? This is what they showed everybody. And, you know, it's absolutely ridiculous. This is real NASA footage. I mean, I just get a little model. I go, I just bring it in front of a camera, right? In a dark room. This is absolute nonsense, right? Here's how easy it is. This is what they do, right? Here, this could be the moon. Just got to get rid of the background, right? And look, you're on the moon. Okay? That's easy. That's nothing. Okay?
People just cannot believe this big lie.
And then the JAXA, the Japanese Space Agency, this is them filming the Earth rise. How stupid is this? How dumb is this? Right? Here's something NASA could do. Since the same side of the moon is always facing the Earth, how about we put a camera on the moon watching the Earth spin 24/7 live feed? It would be the highest viewed live feed. You can put sponsors on there. It would pay for itself. Okay. But no, they never show us that. How come they never shown us an eclipse from the International Space Station or from the moon? Right. It would be the greatest educational tool ever, but they can't because they can't fake it. Right.
Yeah. All pictures are fake. They just CGI.
Yes. So here, and people go, well, you're just saying that. So let me ask you a question. What do you see here? Do you think you could paint this picture to make it look as good as this?
Yeah, of course.
You could? You're a great painter then. This is actually not a photograph. This is a painting.
The painting.
Okay? That is a painting, right? Now let me ask you a question. What's harder to paint? This, look at these reflections. This is a painting. Or this. This is pretty easy to paint. Okay? This is absolutely a painting, and it's provably a painting, but well, it's made in Photoshop because the guy that made it, Robert Simmons of NASA, he said he made it in Photoshop. He used, you know, he made it in Photoshop. He added clouds. He stepped and repeated cloud, you know, the clouds, using them again and again. I'm trying to find an image with the clouds on it.
Yeah, it's Photoshop because it has to be.
It's Photoshop. Look at you. You know it.
Yeah, I know.
Right. And then they tell us that, you know, when they photograph the Earth, it's every time the satellite goes around. So every 90 minutes. Here's the question. how come the clouds haven't changed? When it comes around, there should be totally new clouds, but the clouds go across. This is ridiculous. This is nonsense.
Yeah, they change every minute in the sky.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So about 500 years ago, all people knew the Earth is flat. There was no problem.
Yeah.
And how come? Where is this ball heliocentric model came from? And later theories, evolution and Big Bang theory. So can you tell about this a little bit history? Where this came from, this ball theory?
This lie is less than 100 years old. Everything you're told about Aristophanes and his sticks and shadows and the ancient Greeks, all lies. All of our history is a lie. Anything before 1900 is a lie. They don't want us to know that there was an advanced civilization here all the way up into the late 1800s. And then there was some global reset that happened, which is a whole nother topic. And in the app, there's tons of information on that if you click the mud floods button. But all ancient, right now, this is showing you we made this in Photoshop and we did a better job than NASA did. All right. That's how easy it is. So that's not what I wanted. All ancient cultures before NASA, we're talking about a flat, immovable Earth. Mm-hmm. Okay. And they were teaching flat Earth in the United States, in Russia, in Yugoslavia, all different places, all the way up to the 1950s and 60s. Okay. There's people alive today that were taught flat Earth in school here in America.
Oh, okay? Really?
It's the lie. Yes, in the 50s. All right. Mm-hmm. And the image I just showed a moment ago is I interviewed this woman, Ruth, 102 years old, back in February 2020. And she said that she was taught that the Earth was flat in school back in the 1920s. And then they changed it. And when I told her that it is flat and I told her about the lie, she literally broke down. She's like, I've always known it. And it was an amazing video and it went viral. It's absolute insanity that people believe these stories. The story of Aristophanes. He says, he measured a stick and a shadow or a well, right? Well, first he has to assume that the sun rays come in parallel. Nobody's ever seen parallel sun rays, all right? No one's ever seen parallel sun rays. And, so he's here. There's no shadow, where he is his buddy 500 miles away. Somehow they can communicate. And there's a measure. He can measure the shadow and he can do some math and figure out the curvature of the Earth. And that's what the, Cosmos with Carl Sagan and Neil deGrasse Tyson, all of the science, they always quote Aristophanes, right? However,
how is it possible on that time they can communicate at the same time?
Right. And on a flat Earth, though, here he is. Here's his buddy. There's a shadow. And you can do the same math to figure out the sphericity of this flat plane, right? Yeah. On the flat Earth, we have a small local sun with crepuscular rays, just like I showed you. And it works perfectly on a flat Earth. It makes no sense on a globe. But again, they'll tell us, a story. Aristophanes would be the most famous mathematician of his time. Meanwhile, out of the same areas of Greece, there's other mathematicians that wrote books, and none of them ever mentioned Aristophanes. Like he never existed. As a matter of fact, the first story of the oldest book that we can find is from the mid 1900s about Aristophanes. They stuck him into our books. It's a fake story. It's just a fake story. Written up by the people that rule the world. All of these guys, right? I don't believe any of them really existed. They're made up stories to make up this heliocentric model. They're all, they're showing that they're Freemasons. I don't even know if they existed. Again, if you weren't there, if you didn't talk to them yourself, you have no proof. And this is being told to us by the liars at NASA. This is being told to us by the rulers of our world that lie to us about everything.
Yeah. Okay, so I just want to read some questions from subscribers. So Nice from Russia and Marina from United States ask, why sometimes on some days we can see both the sun and moon on the same time, on the same area, on the same time?
Yeah, so that's very easy, and that doesn't prove the Earth is a globe or flat. So right now we're looking. The moon is in the night sky and the sun is in the day sky. Well, the sun is always in the day sky, and so nowhere, anywhere on Earth will anyone see the sun and the moon at the same time. Right now, the date Tuesday, February 15th. But if I speed up now, watch what happens. The sun laps the moon once every 28 days. The sun brings the daylight with it. The moon doesn't bring the night. The sun brings the day and leaves the night behind. So as the sun starts approaching the moon will be in the day sky, right? It's a half moon or less, always in the day sky. And so right now, everyone on Earth will see the moon during the day sky. Okay. And the closer it gets to noon, as soon as the moon catches up to it, there'll be a new moon and you won't be able to see it. But as soon as the sun passes the moon, so I'll make this a little bigger, right? As soon as the sun passes the moon. So no one sees the moon now because there is no moon. And that's a whole nother thing. But now you watch, here comes the moon. It's trailing behind the sun and it's in the day sky. Everyone on Earth will see the moon in the day sky. Not just Russia, not just South America, not just America, everyone on Earth. Now the moon will be in the night sky as the sun moves farther and farther away from it. Now no one will see the sun and the moon at the same time for the next 2 weeks until it reemerges back out. Got it?
Yeah, okay. That's interesting. Yeah. So Saidara Senpai asks, why are the stars arranged differently in different poles, hemispheres? And where do meteorites came from and how their orbit calculated?
Right. Good one. So two things. So do I have anything on meteorites? The reason we see different stars is this. Imagine you and I, we're going to be in a small model of an enclosed flat Earth. You and I are in a room, a big room with 10-foot high ceilings, and it's got all sorts of lights in the ceiling just in random patterns. And those are our stars in the room. Now we expand that room to 10 miles wide. Okay. I send you 5 miles away from me. Okay. Well, you're 5 miles away from me. One, I can't see you. You can't see me. The ceiling and the floor have merged together. We have hotels here in Las Vegas that the hallways are so long that if you're at one end, the lights in the ceiling are touching the carpet on the far end due to perspective, just like we show you. So you're 5 miles away. I can't see you. So I call you on the phone. I say, hey, look up. And you look up. I say, describe the stars, the lights in the sky. And you see completely different lights than I see because we're in two opposite areas of the room. And that's it. The reason you can't see Polaris in the south is because it's too low on the horizon.
Okay.
That's it. However, on a ball, you should not be able to see Polaris beyond south of the equator. But there's observatories as far as 30 degrees south that have seen Polaris. And that's impossible on a ball. Optics, weather conditions change the how far we can see. The apparent horizon changes due to weather, atmosphere, all sorts of things. On a globe Earth, if something, is supposed to be behind the horizon, doesn't matter. You can't see it. On a globe Earth, a 6-foot tall person is supposed to see the horizon at 3 miles away. That's it. That's where it should be. No farther. On a foggy day, that horizon might only be a mile away or a quarter mile away, right? It could be less due to weather conditions, but even with the perfect, clearest, most brightest, non-interfering atmospheric conditions, it can be no farther than 3 miles for a 6-foot tall person on a ball 24,901 miles around. So the fact that we can see farther proves that we're not on a ball.
Yeah, I think that's obvious. Yeah. But what is meteorites and how their orbit can be calculated?
Yeah. So, well, meteorites and asteroids, two different things. But when we see meteor showers, we're told that the Earth is traveling through the path of a comet that had gone by and the dust particles are coming in, right?
Mm.
If that was the case, how come every year we have the Perseus meteor showers, I believe it's the third week in August. How come the following year it's the same time? Because that spot in space is 4.4 billion miles from where we were last year. We're flying through space. What is that trail following us?
Yeah.
It's the dumbest thing ever. And here's the thing. If meteorites were what they say, from wherever we are on Earth, we'd see meteorites coming this way. We'd see meteorites going this way. We see meteorites shooting up from the horizon because you're on a ball and they're supposedly coming into the atmosphere from all different directions. Meteorites do not shoot up. They only go down. They only go down. So what are they? They're electrical in nature. They're electrical discharges between this Earth battery system that we're in. So the sky has a positive charge. The Earth has a negative charge, right? And there's electrical phenomena that comes in between. When you rise up off the ground, the voltage in the air increases 1,000 volts, 100 volts or 1,000 volts every meter. Every meter, there's that much more energy in the air, right? Mm-hmm. There's free energy everywhere. They don't want us to know this. Back in the 1800s, they had free energy buildings that are sucking energy out of the ether. They had balloons holding giant wires into the sky that are pulling energy out of the air, right? There was an advanced civilization here far beyond where us ordinary people know. Technology way beyond what we know today. And that's all being hidden from us. So why the lie? Not only are they hiding the creator, not only are they hiding our divinity, not only are they hiding who we are, where we are, what we are, the power of our mind, they're hiding everything. They're hiding free energy. They're hiding more land. They're hiding the fact that we are free people and that we don't have to listen to anybody. Okay? There's only a couple laws. Don't get in anyone's face. Don't kill anybody and be good to the person next to you. That's it. All right? All the other stuff put on by all of these politicians and stuff. You know, the only power anyone has over you is in your imagination. That's it. It's your imagination. So when people say, you know, why would they lie about the shape of the earth? What difference does it make? I still have to go to work tomorrow. It's because they want you to have to go to work tomorrow. They want you to be a slave, to work for energy, work for food, work for land, right? Work for housing, when all of these things are God-given. Okay? They don't want us in a situation where we find out how powerful we are. They don't want us in a situation where we find out that if we all focus on the same thing together, we can create an amazing world. They want us divided by countries, divided by race, divided by sex, divided by genders. Now they're dividing genders, divided by politics, divided by sports teams, divided by, there's divide.
Yeah.
If we all come together, you and I, like you're in Russia, right? I'm in America. We're supposed to be enemies.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the dumbest thing ever.
No,
okay?
I'm not your enemy. Sure.
Yeah, it's the dumbest thing ever. Like we're going to war. Order followers go to war to kill other order followers, right? You know, our leaders don't kill people. They convince other order followers to go kill other people. It's all nonsense.
Yeah.
And when people wake up, it's over for the elite have zero power. Zero, other than in our imagination.
Yeah, that would be nice. Yeah, and Ridwan asks, have there been any serious, maybe even scientific discussions between the supporters of the flat earth theory and the supporters of the earth ball theory? If not, why is this topic still not widely discussed in high scientific level?
Absolutely. I'll tell you why. Because we've approached Neil deGrasse Tyson. We've called him out. We sent open letters. Neil deGrasse Tyson's the big spokesman here in America for science, right? He's the biggest puppet. He's a failed actor. None of these guys will ever talk to people like me or other flat earthers because they know they will be destroyed. It's that easy.
Yeah.
They have zero proof. I'm offering 3 Bitcoins. You know what Bitcoin is, right? You have Bitcoin in Russia.
Yeah.
3 Bitcoins for 1 proof of the globe. 1 proof. And nobody can come up with one. Just one. There's nobody can come up with a proof of the globe. Okay. Neil deGrasse Tyson says, we don't, Obama said in several speeches, we don't have time for a meeting of the Flat Earth Society. The Flat Earth Society
I saw
is
that.
is a government run site to make flat Earth look stupid, right?
Yeah.
Neil deGrasse Tyson says, these, and other spokesmen for scientism, they say, we don't need to talk to flat earthers because we know the Earth is flat. We know the Earth is a globe. We know the Earth is a globe, but they don't need to talk to us, right? They don't have time to talk to us. There's more important things, but then they'll make video after video after video straw manning us, making fake arguments, saying things that we don't believe. Oh, flat earthers believe that the Earth is rising at 9.8 meters per second, and that's how they explain gravity. No flat earther believes that. Only globe believers believe, flat Earth believers believe that, right? So they'll spend all this time and energy talking about us, lying about us, but they'll never talk to us.
Mm-hmm. So what do you think? How many people know about the flat Earth?
Well, there's
I mean this science pyramid.
How many people? What's the question?
How many people know in scientific?
More and more are learning now. More and more pilots are speaking out. The problem is, there's not that many scientists out there that that are actually looking. But they're all funded. If they ever mention it, they're finished. If a pilot mentions that the Earth is flat, they're grounded. We interviewed a KLM pilot, and after done interviewing her, the next day she was grounded, right? And then she disappeared, right? Mm-hmm. So people were caught in this fake money system. Money's fake, by the way, and they control us with money. They don't need money. They create money out of thin air, and they control us with it. And people are like, oh, if I lose my funding, if I, So people are afraid to speak out, but many people are speaking out, but you don't hear about them. Astronauts. There was a Polish astronaut a couple years ago that came out and said that the Earth is flat. No one's ever been to space. But did you hear that on the news? No, they hide that information.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So anything else? We're getting close to the end here.
Yeah, well, some interesting question from John McLean. What do you think about Chinese space program? The Chinese space station.
Oh my God!
They did experiment like growing plants in the space. Is this real?
Yeah, well, you know what? They've always been growing. They keep growing lettuce in space. They keep, they do everything, but they constantly make mistakes. And I got to add, the Chinese space station, it is the worst thing ever. It's worse than the International Space Station. Here, excuse me, losing my voice from talking so much. Watch this. The coffee in this bag gets out of sync. Oh, there it is. It's out of sync. Yeah. Right. If you watch the Chinese space station, most of the footage that they're showing us is done in a zero-G plane. Okay. Mm-hmm. Where they're just short clips of them doing things, riding their bikes. They're never doing anything important. They're just on a zero-G plane, and they're just showing us clip after clip. It's all absolute and total nonsense. Yeah. Here's one where these guys are in different rooms, and this guy's holding a microphone, and he sticks it right into his neck.
Yeah. And what do you think about the theory that there are 2, even 3 suns and 2 or 3 moons exist in the same time on the Earth?
Yeah, I don't know about that. There's recently China launched a fake sun. That's a fake video. I've only seen one video of it. Meanwhile, there's 100 people all filming it. None of those videos have ever shown up. And if you watch the videos of them filming it, they don't match up with what they're seeing. And people are looking in the wrong direction. It's all staged nonsense. They want us to believe in this fake sun. Now, there is a patent for a artificial sun. They might be doing something like that, but the sun that we see in the sky is the sun that we all see. But I don't believe that the sun that we see is the physical sun. I believe the physical sun is above that sun, projecting into our reality the sun that we see. It's more like a reflection.
A reflection?
A reflection, yes.
On the dome?
Through the dome, yes. If if you go in the app, and I highly recommend it. If you go in the app and you hit the frequently asked question, and then you hit eclipses on the bottom right, and then you scroll down a little bit to this video right here at the top, these two videos. I did an experiment showing an eclipse and on how the sun and the moon that we see are actually reflections of the real sun and the moon that are above them. So if you watch, especially the second one, it shows how, I'll show it real quick.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to just jump forward real quick here. So this right here is the real eclipse is on the right. This is my fake eclipse. And so how did I make the fake eclipse? So let me just show you real quick. So here it is. So I got, this is a paper towel and I'm projecting onto it. And so the real sun is here. The real moon is here. And this is the eclipse.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's why no one has ever seen the moon approach or exit the face of the eclipse. Right. So now watch. Now I'm going to jump forward. And right here is the projector. You can see through it. Right. This is the real sun that I'm seeing behind the sun that we see.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And then there was, let me pause that. There was an eclipse. During the eclipse, somebody saw this. I'll back it up so you can see it in a second. And we're like, what is that? And I came up with, I think that is the source of the sun that we see. Let me go back. And so, here we go. So there it is. And then when we compare that to, this is a real eclipse, look, we see the same thing. There it is there. And this is my sun right there.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So it's the same thing. If you watch the whole video, it'll be a little better for you.
Yeah. Okay. So what do you think about our whole universe? How is constructed? If we are only one flat plane, or maybe others, what is being under Earth, beneath
the Earth? It's not the universe; it's the Earth system. All of the luminaries that we see in the sky are within the Earth system. We
Mm-hmm.
are at the center of creation. Mm-hmm. Now, there may be different levels above us and different denser levels below us. But again, these are speculation. We don't know. But if you follow some of the work like Santos Bonacci, he talks about the 7 layers of heaven above us.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, it makes a lot of sense to me. A more dense layer below us, a heavenly, non-physical layer above us. Okay. All of these ancient cultures talk about this stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
it's very, very interesting. But again, I'm focusing on what we can prove right here. I mean, we can absolutely prove that we don't live on a sphere. We don't live on a spinning ball. We're at the center of creation, and we're being lied to for a big reason. The reason is to control us, because every flat earther I know has woken up. Now all of a sudden they can see through all the deceptions. Once you see flat earth, then you can see through all of the other lies, and you stop giving your energy to these energy vampires that we call the elite, right? If everybody woke up to the flat earth tonight, then tomorrow they're finished. They have nothing. We take over the world, right? We are the many, they are the few.
Yeah.
And they don't want us to know that. And that's why they're going through the great reset right now. They're trying to get rid of lots of us. I don't want to say too much because this is going to be on YouTube and it'll get censored, but they're trying to lower the population.
Yes, I know. Do you think the same people behind the Earth ball and the thing that's happening right now, last 2 years?
It's all the same people. Absolutely 100%. Because they know that if once you see the flat earth, you no longer fall for any of their lies. It's like knowing how the magician, how he does the trick. Once you once you figure out who you are, where you are, what you are, the power that you truly have, you no longer fall for their nonsense.
Yeah.
Right? So all of it is the same people. It's all the same people. It's all nonsense.
Yeah.
So again, during these crazy times that we're having, why am I talking about flat earth? Because this is the key to wake us up. If everybody's watched your video tonight tomorrow everyone woke up, it's over, we win. It's over. It's over. All right?
Yeah, I hope. Yeah, can you tell just briefly cosmology, astrology, and astronomy? What is the difference? Right now, they don't teach astronomy in Russia quite a while, a few years.
You know, I meant to say earlier, there was a video of some guys in Russia that went far out into the desert, into the non-populated area. They walked for like 2 days, and they found a giant building there, and in it was a fake space shuttle where they faked the space shuttle in Russia. Yeah, it's like it's in Russia, and it's abandoned. And they got into the space shuttle, and all the controls were made of wood. They were all fake, and it was amazing that it was just abandoned there, and left for someone to discover. So, did you say what's the difference between astronomy and astrology? Is that your question?
Yeah, cosmology, astrology, and astronomy.
Yeah, so astronomy and cosmology are basically the same thing. It's the study of the universe and outer space. It's all nonsense. I used to laugh. Astrology, oh, Mars is in retrograde and it's going to affect my life. How is a rock 25 million miles away that can't even affect the tides going to affect my life? Then astronomy, that's science. But then I realized astronomy is all lies. It's all 100% nonsense. And astrology is the real science. Millionaires have financial advisors. Billionaires have astrologers. Okay. So these lights in the sky that we call all these planets, they used to be called wandering stars. They're all named after gods. Okay. They're all named after gods. What's going on with that? And they all affect our lives. They are the projectors of our life. We're all connected to the configurations of these luminaries in the sky. So astrology is the real science, but they don't want us to know that. They make it, they have your daily horoscope in the newspaper, and it's all it's all nonsense, right? But people that understand how this world works and know how to work astrology explains everything that's going to happen. And if you follow a proper astrologer, you'll make some really good decisions in your life. So astronomy is nonsense.
Yeah, and then by the way, on your app, what means zodiac signs? What they mean?
So the stars, if I turn them on, the stars go around in a circle just like the sun and the moon, but the stars lap the sun once a year. So the sun will just slowly drift backwards into each constellation, one per month. And next year it'll have lapped it and goes back to where it is. So that's when they say the sun is in Aquarius or whatever. That means the sun is in that sign. Right now it's transitioning between Capricorn and Pisces, I think.
Okay.
And so that's how the stars work. Again, if you go out tonight and look at the stars in the sky and draw a little chart, find a little seat somewhere and draw a chart and say, okay, I got these stars here. It's 10 p.m. And then next year, same night, same time, go out. Every star will be in the exact same position. How is that possible in a corkscrewing, crazy beehive universe? Right? None of it makes any sense. None of it makes any sense whatsoever.
This is ridiculous. And also there is the theory of cellular Earth, according to which Earth is a huge sphere, and there are many flat cell honeycombs Earth on this sphere. What do you think about this?
Ask again, please.
Yeah, this is a cellular Earth theory, according to which Earth is a huge sphere, and on this Earth, a small flat surface is a small Earth. Interesting.
It's interesting. I'm not buying it, but I'm always hope to hear more. But in the app, if you hit this button right here, this web button, up come more resources. On the top right here is videos by Iwaranon. And I recommend everybody watch these, especially this first one. It's 5 hours, right? But I tell people, if you watch 10 minutes of it, you will not be able to turn it off, okay? I started at 11 p.m. I said, I'm going to watch a little bit. I've been putting it off. I'm like, I don't have time for 5 hours. And then next thing I know, it's 4 a.m. And I'm just like holding my head going, wow. This one will not only wake you up, it'll shake you violently. to the point where you have no choice but to re-examine every single thing in your life. So again, and when it talks about a cell Earth, this talks about how the moon is a map of a greater Earth. If I'll show you real quick. And again, this is all being investigated, but do I have this image? Yes. So right here, this is where we live. This is our known world. Okay. Inside here.
Mm-hmm.
And this melted puddle where our sun circles around our North Pole,
Mm-hmm.
right here, it migrates every 25,000 years. So in 12,000 years, this will be our known world over here. And this will be an ice age over here. Watch that video, the War Non. It'll blow your mind.
That's interesting.
Yes.
So how much we left to live on this?
Yeah. And it talks about the great ages. It's fascinating stuff. And if there's something in it that you don't like, leave that. Watch the other stuff. There's tons of information. Any final questions? Because I do have to move.
Oh, well, it's so much to talk about. We need more time. Okay, thank you very much, Dave. It was really interesting. I enjoyed to talk to you. I hope we'll meet again and talk about all these details.
Yeah, I recommend anybody that is looking into this, get the app, especially for your Russian listeners. Watch the Russian videos on there. I believe the app will be in Russian if your phone is Russian. So, check it out. Watch the videos every day. Watch the daily video. I hope you do that, and you'll learn more and more every day. And once you understand that you're at the center of creation, life is never boring. Never boring. I think most of the depression in this world is because people are lost in space. They have no idea who they are. And that's why their lives, are having difficulty in their lives, because they don't know the power that they have. They don't know that they can elevate themselves. They're convinced that they're going to be struggling for their whole lives. And that's, if you believe that, you're right. If one person believes that they're going to elevate and move on, the other person believes that they're going to be oppressed forever, they're both right.
Yeah. Yeah, it's very, very, very interesting. And also, I wanted to ask you this: your app is working for only iPhone and Samsung. Can be installed on the computer?
No, it's just for mobile devices, iPads, iPhones, Androids, and tablets, but not for computers. But
Samsung, supports Samsung also.
No,
Android.
No, it's on Android. It's on
Android also.
Yeah, it's on Android. It's on, and now the Android store. If you Google it, if you look for it, you're gonna find there's a fake one on there by the same name. It has to be by Blue Water Bay. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to make sure it's by Blue Water Bay, and this is the icon, right? Mm-hmm. Because there's a fake one out there put out by the Flat Earth Society that has all bad information on it. Mm-hmm. Mine is the highest rated app in the App Store. Everyone loves it. Just read the reviews and check it out. It's $3. There's a subscription, which you don't have to do, but if you want to be able to message other flat earthers near you, it's $11 for the year or 99 cents a month. But you don't have to do it. You can just get the app, and then you can use all the features other than sending messages.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much, Dave. I hope we will talk again later someday.
All right. Thanks so much.
Okay. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.